Have you ever looked at a piece of art and wondered, how did that artist make their work come to life? How did they make it look so real? Today we'll be exploring various techniques used by artists as well as the elements and principles of art. The elements and principles of art are the vocabulary used to describe visual art. You might recognize many of them. The elements are line, shape, color, value, texture, and space. A combination of most of these elements can be found in any piece of art. Our focus today will be how do artists use space in two-dimensional art. On a flat surface, artists create space with an illusion. This illusion is also known as perspective. Perspective is how close or far away an object appears to be in art. Perspective can be achieved in many ways. The size of an object gets smaller as they are to appear farther away in the distance. Overlapping objects create depth. As you see, the tree on the left's branches overlap the tree to the right, and it makes it look like it is closer to the front of the viewer's eye. Placing objects higher or lower on the picture plane also creates perspective. The top area contains the background, and it is the farthest away. The middle ground, just as it sounds, is in the middle, and then the foreground is found at the bottom and includes the objects that will appear closest to the viewer. We think we see space, but it isn't actually there. The paper is flat. So how did artists learn to create perspective? Did they make it up? Artists learned about perspective from observing the world. Where else do you see the perspective? Take a look at this photograph. You can see that the end of the hallway appears to be far away, and the lockers directly on the right and left side of the page appear to be close. This type of art shows linear perspective. Linear perspective displays lines or implied lines that are converging at a point on the horizon, called the vanishing point. Where else can you see perspective? Turn your paper horizontal and line up the ruler. Draw the horizon line and then the vanishing point. Draw a very wide street with converging lines. Draw two tall vertical lines to the left of the horizon line. Connect the corners to the closest vanishing point. Draw lightly as you will erase these lines. Erase all the extra tall lines and the horizon line going through your building. Next, draw another vertical line for the front of your building. You'll connect the bottom and the top with a straight horizontal line. Repeat the steps to draw a building on the right side of the road. As you start to draw details, remember the rules to the front of the building are vertical and horizontal lines to create any rectangles. On the side of the building, however, the vertical lines are still straight up and down, but the horizontal lines will line up with the vanishing point. They will be converging lines drawn in perspective. You can make a dotted line getting bigger as it comes towards the front for your road, an extra line going out either side, still in with the vanishing lines for your sidewalk, You can move your ruler up the paper, adding horizontal lines for the planks of your sidewalk. And remember, on the side, a door, the top and the bottom of it will be vanishing lines. And we can add some details. Remember, we have the foreground. That will be a large tree. I'm drawing this large in detail because it is in the foreground. Next, I will draw some details in the middle ground. You see these bushes are a middle size. Drawing a little parking lot here. And then anything that's in the background is going to be very small and have very little detail.